Do you think in the future Harry will return one day? And come back in what state? Welcome back to my channel. Before continuing the main topic of today's video, I hope to get your thoughts on the 2 questions I just posed. Please comment below. Prince Harry has returned many times, but the time was short, so it doesn't count. I mean, completely back. In fact, he sued a newspaper and appeared briefly at royal family events. Meghan is a different story. After she was driven out of the country, King Charles took away Frogmore House, so they had no place to live. It was a clear message that she was not welcome. And the British public hates her. I think the next time he comes back will be when they finally part ways. With his tail between his legs, Meg will receive a large blackmail payment. But they need her to sign a non-disclosure statement about the royal family. Should have done that from the start. But who would have thought that a royal wife would be so bad and sell their stories when the staff couldn't? The circumstances under which Harry returns to the royal family could be that he is expelled from the U.S., or that Harry and Meghan officially divorce. Meghan cannot be evicted as she was born in the USA and is an American citizen. Harry, however, is in the USA on a visa application. There is a court application demanding that the public be shown the answers Harry gave to the questions about drug use on his visa application. Admission to previous drug use normally is a guaranteed refusal of the visa. The American government is refusing to open the visa application to public view, claiming his right to privacy. But Harry stated publicly in his book, Spare, that he regularly used various drugs. There is an accusation that the Biden administration has bent the rules for him, which would not be in line with the standard position based on their own laws. So if the legal case succeeds, there is every chance he could be thrown out of the USA. In addition, there is an American presidential election process, and even if the current administration refuses to open his documentation to perusal, Donald Trump has asserted that if he is elected, he will remove any preferential treatment if it exists. So Harry faces a few worrying months, once again all of his own making, also based on Trump ending up as the Republican candidate. Eviction doesn't apply to immigration issues. Foreign nationals can be deported, but eviction pertains to ending property tenancies. That being said, Meghan is a U.S. citizen and cannot be deported. Harry, as a foreigner, could be deported upon a finding of sufficient legal grounds. Remember when Meghan said that if Trump won the election, she'd then leave the U.S., but never did? Will she be campaigning for Biden this time? Because if Trump wins again and Harry is deported, will she go with him? If he was clever, Harry would pull up his big girl panties and move to South Africa with or without Viper. If he does go, she will be the loser because she's still nothing without Harry. Clearly, we don't want him here in the UK. Canada doesn't want him. No doubt he would have to return here, but hopefully demoted. We certainly do not want the wife. She's caused so much trouble in being a nobody in the first place, proving that psychopaths only think about the power they can gain through someone else. I honestly cannot see how he could ever redeem himself in the eyes of the British either. Cold-hearted couple. Totally out of order! Certainly, we don't actually know that there is a court case. Trump started all of this to detract from what he is guilty of. If Hopeless has filled in the forms and lied in them, then he should be thrown out. If he didn't lie and was still allowed in, well, then it becomes interesting because the government department would then be guilty because the waters are muddied, to say the least. Please don't send him back to us. Nothing like stopping speculation about the Markles living separate lives, arriving and leaving in separate cars, and wondering why the eunuch has a face like a smacked arse 99% of the time than this revelation. And let's not forget divorce trumps dog biscuits every time. So, let's have a look at what is happening with the Montecito Minger and her pension provider at the moment. Things are going pear-shaped for the caped crusader vis-a-vis his sacred vow to destroy the British press, as he seems to have lost the evidence his case relies on. Booed and laughed at the ESPs, including a plea for them not to suck the oxygen out of the room, as well as an online petition of over 750,000 signatories requesting that Harry be relieved of the award. Still whinging about security, still hoping the visa controversy gets buried by friends. The petulant foot-stamping from the self-appointed voice of women everywhere that has raised titters across the globe as Markle finally loses her shit and threatens to confront the king about how the duchy business, set up in 1990, that has a turnover of approx $5 million, is deliberately, willfully, and diabolically plotting to squeeze her business RO out of the market by upping their production by another 30 jars of jam and a few boxes of Bonio this financial year. It's tough out there for startups, isn't it? Are we really supposed to believe that the only thing standing between the King of the UK and a public attack from Meghan is Prince Platyhelminthes? Yes, it's all going downhill faster than a sewage spill for the creme de la creme of humanitarianism. And it seems there is nothing that can stop the tidal wave of shit from engulfing the quasi-royal court of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex except a cunning diversion. So there you have it. Think of this nonsense as no more than a fairground sideshow. 3 cups and 1 coin. Keep your eyes open! Prince Harry made sure he never once touched Meghan's hand as she kept it firmly planted on his knee, not even on his thigh for her. It always was a business relationship. She never loved him, only what he could give her. He looks recoiled from her. She touches him the whole time. Does she do it to remind him he can never leave her? She controls him! It's the imposition of will. She knows he doesn't welcome the contact, but as it's a public setting, he won't kick up a fuss, so she does it to kind of goad him. Coercive control in a situation he created for himself by refusing to listen to his family and friends, who could see that an actress can play the doting girlfriend or wife role as long as it takes to get what she wants. He looks perpetually miserable and defeated. Could be an ego relationship. I don't think either of them wants to admit it. Yes, just as soon as he ceases to be useful to her ambitions. That's what she's done to every other male in her life. The problem is, as a typical narcissist, she fails to see that the only reason anyone gives her the time of day is because she is married to Harry. When they divorce, Harry will go back to the UK. Probably after paying Meghan a ton of money to give him custody of the visa kids and stay away. Attention will follow him. What is he doing? Who is he seeing? Meghan will flail around, spend a ton of money trying to look important, probably latch onto a much older, wealthy man, and then sink into the obscurity she deserves. Anyway, the royal family has learned that Harry and Meghan are untrustworthy and deceitful. They are intent on destroying the very culture of the British monarchy. Want to use their miserable false stories to gain public sympathy and sell them to Netflix. The royal family has truly had more than enough of Harry and his wife, and truly doesn't want to reconcile with the Sussex pair. In fact, they have demoted them to last but Andrew on the royal list. They have yet to name the Sussex children Prince and Princess, and the British Parliament is considering a motion to strip the suffering Sussex of all titles. They want them to stay in the US as private citizens and out of the royal family. History will likely record Harry as the half-wit, deceitful, jealous, and greedy prince who wed an obscure, twice-divorced, middle-aged American showgirl and tried to bring down the centuries-long British monarchy. Harry's treachery will soon be defeated, and he will live miserably ever after. They have no talent, no skills, and no credible work experience that would translate to even modestly paid jobs. They're nothing and nobodies without the family. I think that is what dawned on them at the Queen's funeral and why they're desperately trying to re-edit the book and Netflix program. In conclusion, I know who the Harkles are and I don't like them at all. What they put their families through is disgusting. I hope they lose everything. They need to know what an honest day's work means. Then just maybe they might begin to understand what life is truly about. They don't care for anyone but themselves. It's all on them. Meghan and Harry are the bad people, not anyone else. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.